What is good, Smooth Nation? Time to talk about Sun Wukong, the inspiration for Goku, the inspiration for Dragon Ball, the inspiration for so many. With the release of the new video game Black Myth Wukong, Sun Wukong from Journey to the West novel has currently he's more popular than he's ever been before. Especially with all the drama that happened behind the scenes, many new generations are being introduced to this character for the first time ever. And a lot of people are wondering, why is he so brokenly overpowered? Why is he so broken? It's time to go into that. Sun Wukong is a historical fiction character from the novel Journey to the West. It came out way back in the 1600s. This character is hundreds, plural, years old. Hundreds. Now, the thing you need to understand about people from back then, they had far less understanding of science. They didn't know anything about molecules, didn't know about atoms, didn't know anything about that stuff. The go-to explanation for things was cosmic entities, and that reflected a lot in fiction. Back in the 1600s, a lot of people still thought the Earth was flat. There's some idiots today that still think the Earth is flat, but still. So, with this being known, a lot of fiction centered around the idea of living concepts. You see that in the God of War series, how a lot of characters are just living embodiments of concepts. Zeus is the living concept of thunder and lightning and stuff. Everything was just living concepts. Sci-fi was not a thing back then. Nowadays, with our understanding of science, it's reflected in our media and in our fiction. A lot of characters nowadays have scientific explanations for why they're so strong. I say scientific because it's still fantasy. Modern characters like The Flash and Superman, as broken as they are, they still try. The writers still try to make some bit of sense. They try to add bits of science in there. Like you have Flash who can vibrate his molecules to phase through objects. There's some explanation for how they're so strong. Well, back in the 1600s, way back hundreds, thousands of years ago, they truly did not give a fuck at all. Sci-fi was not a thing, so you didn't have to have an explanation. You didn't have to have a big explanation for things like that. Shit just was. It is what it is. Sun Wukong, he jumps over to heaven. He has 32,000 hairs on his head. He can pull off each of the hairs and it just turns into another him. Explanation? It just is. There's no sci-fi. Like in sci-fi characters like Superman and stuff, they try to explain. They try to add bits of science. You see that in our modern myths nowadays. Back then, they didn't give a fuck. It just is. They're up there with cartoon characters like Tom and Jerry, just slapstick humor. That's basically what the old myths were. It just is. It's a Roadrunner cartoon. It's what it was. He doesn't make a lick of sense. His staff can change in size. It can be infinite in size. He can make it as big as the universe if he wanted to. He has 32 different transformations. So to defeat him, you have to defeat each one of those transformations, and he can transform into literally anything, even his enemy. Yeah, whatever you are, whatever your powers are, he can transform into you, and he can have your powers. Yeah, not only that, he has multiple different levels of immortality. How that works, I guess each immortality works in a different way, I guess. He's such a broken character. And keep in mind, back then they didn't really care about making sense. Nowadays we try to explain things. You have like in sci-fi like Star Wars, they won't explain the Force, but they will explain the technology, how the lightsaber has come from this crystal and stuff. And they'll explain how they have these fuel-powered ships that can fold space and time and travel super fast distances. Back then, the Sun Wukong, he's just fast. It's just speed. Like the Flash, at least he has this expression. At least he gains his power from the Speed Force. Sun Wukong doesn't give a fuck. He's just fast. They don't make any sense at all. They are basically just historical fiction characters were basically just cartoon characters. Now, I say this knowing that the majority of fiction is just street level. Most fictional characters are street level, regular humans and stuff. But when it do get to the big guys, things get when you do get to the big guys, when they start having powers, nowadays there's some type of science explanation, or even fantasy characters like Doctor Strange, like Harry Potter, they still have tiny bits of science woven in there, like multiverses. Multiverse is very popular to do in modern fiction. It started off in the comics, and now they do it just all the time because it's one way to make your character stronger. A character can only be as strong as the universe will allow. So when you say that there's an infinite parallel universes, now you have more opportunity to blow stuff up. There's infinite universes, infinite stuff to blow up. Well, back then, that concept probably wasn't super popular. Alternate universes, no, they just did macrocosms. They would explain that the universe is a collection of other infinite sized things. Or like in Dragon Ball, you have the macrocosm. You have the living universe. You have heaven. You got hell. Macrocosms were super popular back then. So Sun Wukong in one of the stories, he jumped because he jumped across the universe in order to try to beat Buddha, who apparently his hand was as size as the universe in the novel. But he failed because he went to the edge of the universe and his hand extended beyond that, so he failed. And that doesn't make any sense because they don't, like, science is not the level that it is back then. So sci-fi was not a concept. Everything is just magic. Magic this, magic that. Nothing makes any sense. Like, people want us to talk about how Goku's strong. I'm being honest, I don't think any sci-fi character can stack up to historical fiction. Historical fiction, Sun Wukong is a true example of not giving a single fuck. These writers did not give a single fuck when making it. He is essentially a cartoon. He is a Tom and Jerry cartoon. He is a Looney Tunes character. They truly didn't give a fuck. Like when Akira Toriyama made Goku off of Sun Wukong, he at least tried to have a little bit of science. He at least had the Red Ribbon Army. He at least had little bits of science. And especially when Goku started getting strong, started blowing up planets, he still needed a spaceship. He still needed a spaceship to get around. Sun Wukong don't give a fuck. He'll just jump across the freaking universe. Moral of the story, just don't mess with historical fiction. They are the true definition of not giving a fuck. I don't think they even know what fucks are. They don't have the science. Historical fiction, they did not have the science to understand what fucks are to give. Well, Smooth Nation, you are dismissed. Remember to like and subscribe.